Hello, everybody. My name is Rick. I'm a woodcarver and from UK, Scotland, Edinburgh, and this is the International Association of Woodcarvers.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. It's Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is June the 22nd. So this is our first meeting of our summer series. I hope everybody's having a good summer. Hope everybody is taking time out to spend time with your family and go out and do some wood carving and get to some of the shows and stuff that are around. This will be our first meeting of the summer. We'll meet a couple more times through the summer. And then once we get to September, then we'll start back at our weekly meeting on Saturday afternoon. Just stay tuned to social media and we'll keep you all informed as far as when all that's going to happen. A few things I want to talk about before we get started today. I want to remind everybody coming up, there's a seminar in Converse, Indiana that CCA puts on. It's August the 16th through the 18th. I talked to Kevin Applegate this week and they're looking for some students. So if anybody's interested and can get to Converse, Indiana, it's a great opportunity. Richard Weatherby is going to be teaching, Floyd Radigan and Kevin Applegate. Again, that's August the 16th through the 18th. If you want to sign up, you can go to Eventbrite, look up CCA Caricature Carving Seminar 2024 Converse, and you can sign up there. Or you can reach out to Kevin Applegate, and he'll be happy to get you signed up. Again, it's August the 16th through the 18th. So if you can do that, great opportunity to learn from some great instructors. I will also remind everybody about the show coming up in Colorado Springs. Carving the Rockies will be September 14th and 15th in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Try to make plans to come out there if at all possible. It's the only show in the world, as far as I know of, that's solely dedicated to caricature carving. It's put on by the CCA. I think the new book's going to be released out there. There's a lot of events planned. Go out on the CCA website, check out all the opportunities that you'll have out there. I think we're doing like a carving competition. Of course, the main competition, there'll be demonstrations. They're doing a caricature carving school the 3 days after the show. So the 16th through the 18th of September, there's also a school. I know there's still a few openings for that. If you're interested in doing the school, the 16th through the 18th, make sure you go out on the website and get signed up there before all of the spots get taken. So check out all of those things. Want to tell you a little bit about some online seminars that are coming up. July the 9th, Dwayne Gosnell is going to be doing one. It's on Bruce's Brawlers. It's a bowler. And you can go out on Woodcarving Academy, check out the workshops out there. If you're interested in that, contact Dwayne. He also has another one, August the 16th, just carving a caricature named George. Again, Dwayne will get you signed up there. Janet Cordell has a workshop that she's going to be doing in August on carving a horse jumping a fence. So if you're interested in that, contact Janet Cordell. And then Dave Stetson, who's on with us today, is going to be doing a Santa class in August this year. So if you're interested in that, it's on August the 17th. You'll need to reach out to Dave, get signed up, find out the materials that you'll need or rough out or whatever he's going to be using for the class. You'll need to get all that information from him. He'll be happy to have you signed up and in that class. And again, if anybody's ever taken any online classes, you can see everything that the instructor's doing from beginning to end. You get recordings, you can go back out, rewatch them. And that's really a great way to learn. We just got finished up with a class with Dave just not too long ago on carving the 5-piece cowboy. And again, great instruction. So if you can't get out to a local club or a class, but you can do it from home, sign up on one of these online workshops. It's really a great opportunity. As far as our summer series, next meeting will be on July the 20th. It'll be Joshua Walters from Windy Cape Studios. He's going to come in and talk about making bases for scenes. That's one of the things that they kind of specialize in at Windy Cape Studios is bases. And he's a caricature carver. Fantastic carver. He's also an instructor. He's going to talk about how he makes his bases, kind of go through the process, talk about shape and design and all that kind of stuff. So that should be a great meeting on the 20th. And then in August, on the 10th, Mike Bloomquist is going to be coming on with us. We haven't had Mike on before, but he does some great carvings that actually move. If you're not familiar with Mike's work, go out on Facebook and check it out. Really looking forward to having him on. So again, he'll be on August the 10th. So we got some good things lined up. Speaking of good things that are lined up, today we've got Dave Stetson back with us, and he's going to do his words of wisdom. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dave.
Hey, thanks, Blake. Picasso. Did you know that Picasso created more than 50,000 works of art? That's a lot. But only 100 are considered masterpieces that we still admire today. Less than 1% of his works are relevant. So this is a good reminder to stop trying to be perfect and start creating. Be courageous enough to share your passion.
All right. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate that. Coming to us today, all the way from the United Kingdom. And again, it reminds me that this is an international meeting. We try to get people from all across the world to come on and present, talk about their wood carving journey, show what they do, kind of tell about what got them involved in wood carving. Today, we have Rick that's coming to us from the UK. He's originally from Italy. He'll tell you his whole backstory. He goes by Scarecrow Woodcrafts on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. He's a musician, tours about. He's been all over playing music, and he uses wood carving to supplement his travels. And so without further ado, I will go ahead and turn it over to Rick. I'm excited to have him on today. Definitely interested in hearing about his story. So Rick, good seeing you today, brother, and glad you're on with us.
Hi, Blake. Really good to see you and everybody, and meet some of, everybody. This is my first internationally broadcast interview. So, or chat more than interview. A little, a little nervous, but feels good to be around friends and people that I've been following and learning from, and it's been an inspiration in the last 5 years, basically, since I started. Maybe I can start a little bit with my background, and thank you for your generous words about carving and traveling and playing music. It's been a wonderful journey so far, and the way it all started. I'm originally from Italy, and I moved up here to Scotland in 2018, I think, 5-6 years ago. And I was a full-time busker musician. Basically, still am, and amongst other things. And what happened when it all started was that I was busking on the main street here in Edinburgh. It was November. I was freezing cold, of course. And every now and then, like every couple of 3 hours, I would go to the next bookshop which had a little cafe and area, and I would grab a tea or coffee and warm up. And at some point, my eye just spots something interesting, which was not exactly this book, but similar. It was, I don't know if you can read it or if it's like sideways, upside down, but it's basically 50 things to do in the wild with a knife, or 50 things you can whittle with a pocket knife, something like that. And that got my attention. So from there, I started getting interested in green woodworking mostly, which here in the UK is really popular and has been going through a whole renaissance and rediscovery in the last 5 to 10 years, and everything related to working with freshly cut wood, so spoon carving, bowl turning, all sorts of green woodworking practices and crafts. So I started with that. And of course, let me know if there's any question or if it's too much of a monologue. I'm very happy to take breaks. And anyway, so I started doing spoon carving and getting back to it now. But at some point I stopped because I was feeling a little, maybe bored a little bit. It was not exactly my thing at the time. And then I stumbled upon a video on YouTube, which was Doug Linker's, obviously, like many of us did. It was Doug Linker, Carve a Little Man. And that was like a revelation. I felt like, wow, it was at the end of, I think it was beginning of 2020. So COVID was around. The pandemic was coming, basically, and there was tension in the air already. We didn't know. It was probably a couple 3 weeks before we entered the first lockdown. So in dark times, that was actually a lucky combination, like for many others of us, new wood carvers. And so I started watching these videos and finding other sources, like countless times, like thousands of times probably so far. And this here is the result of my first experiment with like caricature carving, which is The Little Man by Doug Linker. My camera is really blurry, so I'm gonna keep it here and move it slowly, as Blake and Dave suggested. So as you can see, and pretty much the same thing that Doug always said, like in the beginning, this, as you can see, there is everything that could possibly be wrong is here in terms of carving technique. But to me, this was the most beautiful. I was so proud of this. So this is what got me started. And I had a little, the flex cut detail knife, which I no longer have. And I was using the KN14, which is the straight edge rough out knife. Because flex cut is very much available everywhere, and that got me through the first couple of years of carving, basically. I now have the KN34, which is the skewed knife that is finding really, really lovely. But anyway, yeah, that got me started, and I was really hooked. And 2-3 weeks we're in lockdown, and for the next 2 years, basically, I was still able to keep going out and do my busking, luckily, up until level 4 or 5, I think, where I couldn't leave the house. But I was so lucky to be able to be outside, distanced, on my own, making a living, in some gardening, also in the countryside, just outside Edinburgh, where I live, and spending loads of time wood carving and learning. I'm in one of those that don't wear a glove, so I experienced firsthand like how little slices and cuts here and there still happen sometimes. But I like to be honest with my now students every now and then, because I started teaching at some point, or I'll get there. Yeah, I always make the example of Harley Retzel or many others of you that I saw through the videos, and that like maybe 40, 50, 60 years into wood carving and still wisely wearing a glove. So I always repeat that. But the good thing about spending the first 2 years locked in the house and only having YouTube and mainly Doug Linker, I should say, and some books here and there, and Gene Messer, and later I discovered the Woodcarving Academy, and then the International Association of Woodcarvers was born, and that was my only practice really. There's no, I think I've frozen for a second. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It does look frozen though.
Oh, okay. Oh, I hope it comes back. Yeah, my computer is a little, it's gotten a little clogged up. Hopefully it will come back. It's not the most embarrassing of like losing pictures. But if you can hear me, that's great. So I had a chance to learn from my own mistakes for the first couple of years, having spacious time to practice. And around here, caricature carving is very much really non-existent in this form, especially the flat plane Scandinavian style, which is probably I can say my favorite.
Did we lose him, Dave?
Hello?
Oh, I hear a voice, but lost video.
Okay, yeah, I think the laptop is rebooting basically a little bit connection. Can you hear me now?
We can, yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I hope it will come back as soon. But yeah, like I said, like green woodworking and green wood carving is all the rage down here, and has a very ancient tradition alongside the Scandinavian style that was nearby, basically. And the Norse were here, and here there's a lot of just thousands of years of tradition in green woodworking. But caricature carving, not really very much. There's a bit of sculpting, of course, but more like fine art sculpting and fine art carving. So it was a situation where you couldn't find classes or other carvers, basically. I know now there's Timmy in London, and there are of course a few new character carvers in the UK, but nothing established, and not as much as in the States and Canada and of course Scandinavian countries. So anyway, yeah, that was my beginning for the first couple of years. And then as soon as the pandemic and the lockdown was ended, I started working towards that big travel dream of mine in the States that I had been planning for a while, and where I was planning on doing some busking around and connecting with local music scenes in some spots, and bringing my carving kit and carving little figures and maybe selling them on the street or just giving them to friends. And that's what I did from March 2022 to early October, basically, with a little break in between. Started in New Orleans, and then Kansas City, living on farms or helping out carpenters or meeting friends along the way, and spent summer in Oregon, Northwest coast, in Portland. And then I was carving a lot and playing music, and connected with some people that I've been in touch through Instagram for the previous couple of years, and it was really beautiful, including you, Blake, and Nikki from Yeti Rage, and a few others, I think. And it was really sweet to exchange like carvings for knives. Like I got this lovely OCC. You can't see it, sorry. I think it's still frozen.
Hey, Rick, why don't we go ahead and let you go ahead and shut down and reboot and start back up, and we'll make Blake talk about nothing for a few minutes, if that's okay.
Oh, there he is.
There you popped
there
up.
he is.
Well,
Never mind.
here we go.
Do that. Yay.
Great. Should have said that earlier. Perfect. So yeah, it's nice to see a moving picture. So one of the lovely gifts that I received was this OCC tool, 1 inch and 3/4, I think. That is still my main knife today. And I think I bought the 2 inches straight edge one just because it's very hard to get them out here. So while I was there, I just thought I'm gonna stock up. But I don't. Yeah, I think probably this OCC one and the skew flex cuts as are my main tools at the moment. I always like to change around, probably an ADHD kind of thing. Like can't really use the same thing for too long. I need to constantly move around. Anyway, I feel I'm rambling so much, but so then I'm in Oregon and Portland for the summer, and I connected with the local carving guild. I think it's called the Oregon Guild of Woodcarvers or something like that. Really, really lovely people that helped me set up my first classes, basically. Well, backing up a bit, I was right across the street from a woodwork community center called True North PDX that I think sadly has closed shortly after I came back. But they were offering workshops and classes, including one that I took on how to teach your skills, because I was wondering about starting to teach a little bit. Of course, there was a lot of imposter syndrome going on. It's still there. It's always there, kicking about. But I felt like, okay, maybe I can try. I never taught anything to anybody before that. I was a terrible student in my time, so I didn't know how that was gonna go down. But I tried, and to my huge surprise, it felt amazing. I did a 4-hour class. For the week before, I carved the same pattern a million times. Yeah, probably once a day at least, and writing notes on every single step and passage. It was a really beautiful, humbling experience that reminded me that even though I was more advanced at that time than the class that I was going to teach, obviously, it forced me to go back to my beginner mindset. And wow, that was a journey. So I started with that class, and it was a good turnout. And I'm still in touch with many of them, and look forward to coming back and doing some more. Although in the presence here of so many incredible woodcarvers and teachers, I feel like my knees are shaking a little bit. But I can't wait to take some classes in person from somebody too, because that still hasn't happened yet. So that was a big, let's say, that was a awakening for me, from musician and then woodcarver, and I was keeping it as a hobby, but people around me were pushing me to make it maybe more than just a hobby. I could do more with that. And finally, I gave in and I started taking commissions and having a little shop, web shop, and putting myself out there a little bit. And then teaching came around. And when I came back from that trip, amongst with many life decisions and new paths ahead, I decided to, really to push on carving and teaching. And so I started connecting with my local community of, there's an open workshop, a big open workshop in Edinburgh, a tool library. Actually, the first tool library that started in Europe 10 years ago, it's here in Edinburgh, where people can borrow tools and learn from craftsmen. So it was also a lovely bridge with the local community, which for the first 2.5 years, due to pandemic and me being pretty much a loner, I wasn't really doing a lot through music. So wood carving was also helping creating this bridge with community that I never experienced before at that level. So I have many things to be grateful for and thankful for because of wood carving. So that was 2022 into 23. I started teaching a lot, making a little bit more, and yeah, pretty much into this year, same thing with trying to branch out, pun intended, and getting some more commissions from shops rather than individuals and private classes. And another big chapter, and it probably will be the last one of this long ramble, it's what I discovered through teaching, not only the joy of passing on a craft that's been so helpful for me and I enjoy so much doing. It's also thanks to a demonstration that I gave to a person with different abilities one day, that couldn't really carve, but it was enjoying painting a little carving that I did. I got in touch with associations that work with kids with difficult family situations, or people with different abilities, or maybe someday in the future institutes. But the point is that I discovered that more than teaching the skills, is the therapeutic side of crafting by hand, the mindfulness of it, and being able to be engaged in an activity and while feeling the achievement of starting something from scratch and having something complete in your hand after a few hours. And that for everybody, I guess it will be amazing to experience, but especially for people with like maybe low self-esteem, or that feel a little bit out of the system, like a teenager that I'm teaching now, that removed himself from the school system and is finding in wood carving like a really something that makes him feel valid in society, and maybe it will be his future journey and lifetime path. And all these sides of it, like with the making, the learning, the teaching, the therapy side of it, I find incredible that they all come from a block of wood and a knife. And yeah, that's pretty much where I am at the moment.
Hey, Rick, can you show us some of your carving, some of the stuff that you've done recently, and maybe talk a little bit about the ones that you're teaching, or how you decide, what design you teach in the class?
Yeah, definitely. So I am pretty terrible when it comes to design and repeating things, because again, I don't think I ever carved the same design twice, and I don't really usually use patterns. I know many of you will get angry at me for that, but it's just I haven't tried yet. Actually, the only time that I had to carve the same kind of design like 35 times actually, it was a commission from a shop around Halloween. Was a pumpkin with a little face and expression. I don't have one here now, but that was the first time that I had to repeat the same carving, I think 35 times. And in the beginning, I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to be dreadful, but actually completely the opposite. I was really enjoying it, and I discovered another side of learning, which is consistency and repetition. But one thing that I found great joy in carving and using as a simple project for beginners is carving little vegetables. For example, the only one I have here, I think, is a little aubergine, also called eggplant down there, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see very much. That will be on my Instagram. But this is probably maybe even a little bit advanced for a beginner. But I have a class tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to do a carrot. Carrot is usually the beginner project that I prefer, because it's very, even for small kids, like they are with tiny hands. Like if you adjust the block to be more like long and thin, they can have lots of fun and easily get to a point where you can have a little face, or even just starting from a simple carrot. And I think that I was inspired by Harley Rassel, definitely. I think that's what he does too. I have actually, by the way, I have interesting story about a really incredible story about Harley Rassel that I've never met in person. Haven't met yet. I hope one day I will. But when I started carving and I was busking on along the coastline here, I kept bumping into a family, and the kids were seeing my carvings, and I gave a few to them. And then I found out later that the lady I was chatting with is the daughter of a wood turner that lives in Iowa, I think, or Nebraska, and went to high school with Harley Rassel. Unbelievable. Like from Iowa to a little coastal town in Scotland, meeting the one person that probably knows Harley Rassel in the whole country is pretty mind-blowing. Anyway, another one of my favorite designs, or characters, it would be like gnomes, which down here, of course, they really find themselves at home in the Celtic culture of this place. And these are all like probably 4 inches. I guess my favorite size of blank would be usually 4 or 5 inches, inch and 3/8 square. And this is one of the most recent ones. Like usually they all look like me, with a long beard and a grumpy face. And I haven't explored like movement a lot yet. And normally they're pretty straight up, and sometimes I don't have examples here because I've been so busy with teaching recently that I'm carving like original designs less and less these days. But I love like the super tiny little quirky, funny little people like that. And I found that wood glue is an excellent way to have beer foam on top of a little beer can. I don't know if you can see it. That's Gorilla Wood glue. Maybe cheated a little bit, but and I can show you the most recent commission that I got, which is a couple of cake toppers for a couple that are gonna get married next year, and bigger pieces, more refined, that they should look like the groom and bride. I think they're happy with it. But so these are a little bit, okay, I'll do one at a time. A little bit more detailed. God, so blurry. I'm so sorry. And this one is actually a silversmith, so it has a little silversmithing hammer. Carving female characters is definitely my next challenge, trying to do more and more, because I find it's easy to stay with in your comfort zone and carve grumpy old man, but I will love to get more into sculpting and realistic features. Last thing probably that I've been doing a lot recently is this kind of a candle holders in the shape of tree trunks, where you can stick a little candle on. Obviously, fire and wood don't really get along, but in theory, everything should be fine. So yeah. What else? Oh, probably the biggest thing that I've worked on is I love the idea of doll houses and little boxes with little diorama kind of thing. So last 2 Christmas ago, I carved a little. This is a box in the shape of a book. I haven't. It's not carved by me. I bought it. I carved the little gnome and some accessories here and there, like the stove, the books down there, and I love the idea of creating a little world. And it's supposed to be a Potter master cave kind of thing. So I made some key boxes for the house, and trying to professionally speaking, I'm trying to find designs that are more suitable for the market, for something maybe interesting and useful, other than just aesthetic. But I slow down a little bit with the production and focusing a little bit more on learning and teaching at the moment. And yeah. That's where I am at the moment.
So Rick, where'd you find that box that you just showed us a minute ago that you did the inside piece? Was that just at a local store, or just pick it up?
Local craft store, very simple, cheap, like £3, or $3, wooden box basically. And I turned it into a little diorama or dollhouse. I would love to make more in the future. And yeah, more sculpting. I'm going to be taking some classes in spoon carving and wood turning in the future. So yeah, trying to get my hands into as many wood things as possible.
Eric, can you talk a little bit about your finishing process as far as how you paint your carvings? I know a lot of them you take outside and make pictures and stuff. I know you maybe use something a little different for the treatment of the wood after you paint, or.
Yeah, I've tried. I've experimented with different options, but mainly what I do, the basswood, it's called lime wood down here. I think it's within the same family. It's a bit different than the basswood that I worked with in the States. It's a bit harder and a bit more like on the brown side. But I use mineral oil. In the beginning, I was using raw linseed oil, but tends to yellow a bit too much. So then I tried walnut oil, Danish oil. What else? Now mostly sticking to mineral oil, clear, super transparent, and maybe beeswax sometimes. I still have to try the oh, what's it called? Powered. Yeah,
Howard's feeding wax.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I need to try that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And then very simple acrylics, wash down acrylics, or I tried something that is really popular down here, especially for spoons and bowls and things like that, is milk-based paint. I don't know if it's used out there in the States. It's casein-based paint. It comes in with powder. I think I have a sample here. Yeah, they sell these samples. I think the brand is called Old Fashioned. It was used for to like emulate like old furniture, kind of rustic style. It's really beautiful, and it's a powder, so you can just mix it with water and to your preference, like the thickness and how much wood grain you want to see. It is a bit expensive, but I mainly use acrylics. Yeah, very simple and a wash basically. Yeah.
Do you have a specific shop that you sell your stuff at, or maybe on Etsy, or is there somewhere if somebody wanted to buy something from you, they could get a hold of you?
Oh, I've opened a little website recently. I keep it very minimum at the moment. But I've got a few carvings. This is another nice story that thanks to wood carving, and I actually met my partner, and because I walked into the shop, it's a little Whole Foods co-op that sells crafts from local artists, and I walked in the shop one day about a year and a half ago, and yeah, asking if they were interested in buying wooden carrots or wooden vegetables that would go along with the as a grocery store basically, organic food, and really into sustainable things. And we met thanks to they said yes, and they sell some of my carvings, and that's how we met. And I'm very happy a year later. So there's a little romance around carving as well. And so I sell in a couple of shops. There's another one that I am making some carved broomsticks. It's a little witchcraft shop that just commissioned. I don't know what you can see. This is a hazel stick, and I carved a sort of a fern, kind of a pattern, and it's a witchcraft shop. So I'm gonna be making some broomsticks. They teach how to make traditional broomsticks, like witch brooms, basically. And so I've got those there, but not very much at the moment. But usually people get in touch with me in direct messages on Instagram for commissions. I used to have an Etsy shop, but I wasn't really selling a lot, and the fees and expenses were high, so I decided to close it down. Although most of the sales were actually to the States, to the United States, so that was really nice. I got some private classes also thanks to that in the past, and I'm on Craft Courses UK, which is a platform for crafters and makers and teachers around here. But at the moment, yeah, mainly through direct contact. Always happy to consider ideas and gifts or commissions.
Are there any clubs over there that woodcarvers participate in, where they gather on a weekly basis or whatever to carve?
I started one in Edinburgh, actually. At the moment, it's very random when we gather up, because it's former students basically that I said, like, let's have a little carving club around here, because there's nothing really like that. Yeah, my life has been very much a roller coaster in the last couple of years. So between work and personal life, it hasn't been. I don't really have the structure to fit in like a weekly or monthly gatherings, but I'm working on it. So there is a carving club that I started here, made of former students. I taught for a couple of months. I was teaching classes in Glasgow, which is the next big town in Scotland city, and after that they started their own little carving club. So they do mostly spoon carving, but also I see that it's spreading out slowly. Wood turning is very most popular around here. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other caricature carving that I know of. I don't think there's anything else around. Traditional, something very popular is traditional woodwork. In fact, I'm applying for an apprenticeship for a traditional chair making at the end of the month. So if I get that, it will be amazing, and it will provide some structure. So maybe in the future, I'll be able to create more community around it, and maybe at some point integrating character carving with furniture. And which is something that I've been thinking about. Spoons with a little gnomes on the handle. Somebody's already doing that, I know. But yeah, I would love to bridge creative like accessories with practical and furniture, things like that.
What about the wood that you use? You said you use lime wood. Do you harvest that, or is there a local sawmill or something you get it from?
I get it from, see if I have I don't know what you can get from the video. I get very hard to see. Yeah, I don't think you can see a lot. But I get it from a company called English Woods or Scottish Woods, depending on what they have available. There are sawmills between England and Scotland, and it's very well dried, I think. Quality is really nice. It's hard. I remember American basswood. Most of the basswood that I tried, at least, I was from Heineke, probably,
Yep.
and Mountain Carvers at some point. Can't remember where else. A woodcraft shop once that I found in Kansas. But I remember being generally softer. This one here is really, really beautiful to carve, just a bit harder. I'm trying to experiment with other kinds of woods. Yeah, all the classics are pretty much available. Walnut, not willow. What was that? Tulip, beech, but they can be super hard. Generally, they're used for turning. There's no shops actually for. That's one thing. Another dream during the pandemic was there is no shops that sell carving tools around here. Would be really nice to have one, but no like specific to wood carving or just carving tools. There might be some craft shops that have one or two knives, but nothing really like chipping away or craft shops that I found in the States. Yeah, would be really amazing to have something like that. The bright side is that some of my favorite tools, which is the Swiss-made fail, chisels and things. At least, yeah, they're a little cheaper around here because they don't come too far away from here. I remember trying to buy a gouge from Kansas City, and it was mad how expensive it was, sadly, because of shipping and everything.
Hey, Rick, I got a direct message. Somebody wants to know what you use to carve the bowl of like a spoon, and if you have like a spoon carving knife you use or a hook knife. Do you have any of that?
Yeah, I'm getting back to spoon carving more in the near future, but I sold most of the spoon carving knives that I used to use, but I still have a Mora. I think is the single bevel hook knife by Mora, the Swedish company. They are perfect and fantastic. Really good price for the quality. And then if the person interested when needs some shops or crafters here in the UK, there's loads of tool makers. I guess I imagine the same thing will be in the States. Just since here it's so popular, very often the woodcarver will be the tool maker too, and they make sloyd knives like the traditional Scandinavian green woodworking knives, like Mora classic, the Mora 120 or 106, but they make their own versions. I have the only other one that I have at the moment is the Robin Wood tools. It's a quite shallow hook knife and completely flat grind, so there's no bevel basically. But I remember last times I was carving spoons, I was actually looking at the one of my favorite green woodworkers is the Swedish Jogge Sandvisks, I think. I'm probably butchering the name, but his father was also a master green woodworker, and there's a video on YouTube where he is carving spoons, and he was using I think number 7 or number 8 gouges, and that's it. Before they made hook knives, I've been trying with because I love simplicity. I love the idea of having simple tools to do everything. But then, of course, you try everything. But I love carving spoons with a gouge. Obviously, the hook knife is much more comfortable. There's a kind of hook knife here that is a traditional from Wales, which is called tukakam, which is a big, massive hook, basically, and the handle can be 1 meter long, basically. That would scoop out wood in 1 or 2 sweeps, basically. That's very popular. Yeah, if you travel around UK, especially in northern England and like northwest England and Wales, in the summer there will be countless festivals where you will find blacksmiths and woodworkers, wood carvers that sell their custom-made knives. So I really recommend looking around the carving scene here. I don't remember. I can't remember the name of like a popular tool maker. But I can send you the details if you want, and you can put it in the description.
Yeah, and the second one that you showed there, Reese was on with us a few weeks ago, and he's from the UK, and that's the same brand that he uses. So must be pretty popular. Yeah, must be popular.
The Robin Wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the most like popular tool maker. Everybody loves it, and usually there's a waiting list of like a couple of years before you can get his stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions? Let's see. There's a question here in the chat. Did you say you're carving basil wood for the broomstick?
Oh, no, sorry, Hazel,
Hazelwood.
which is
Okay.
pretty hard.
Yeah, they said, how is it for carving and where do you get it?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
They said, how is Hazelwood for carving and where did you get it?
So this stick, I got it from the shop. So they gave me the sticks that will turn into broomsticks, and I'm just carving the handle area basically. And
Gotcha.
I've used a combination of V-tool, Scandi knives mostly. I'm not using the super thin character carving knives a lot because it's being dry. It's very hard. It's quite hard, and I didn't want to risk tipping the blade. But one tool that I tried recently, and it's really amazing, is the Japanese style Swiss made straight skewed knife. This is really powerful for both caricature carving and green work. It's really you will see it on like videos of like Japanese master carvers. They always have this sort of a chisels basically. This was really good for it.
We'll go ahead and open up the floor for anybody in the meeting. Anybody have any questions for Rick? He hasn't already covered.
Have you had a chance to see any of Harley Raffsel's books?
Yeah. I have a few. I found a really lovely vintage edition of wood carving in the Scandinavian style recently. That's in black and white pictures. I love it. It's very much of used to be really a comfort read during the pandemic when the lockdown was heavier. I remember always having carvings on my bedside table and some of these books, because it's still to this day, I know them by heart. But I have Whittling the Little Folk, Scandinavian figure carving, also James Ray Miller, I think mentee of Harley Raffsel. I love his style, and this is a whittling workbook for simple projects that I'm using for my classes too. Shamelessly. I should probably send some royalties around, but and what else? Yeah, I got the this was really helpful. Harold Anlow carving faces. I'm waiting for Alec Lacasse's new book. I should get it in the mail soon. And I don't think I have other. Yeah, I have the step-by-step caricatures by Harley Raffsel, and a couple of CCA books. Yeah, should get some more. I would love to get the Carving the Eye that came out, I think, last year. And I think for some reason, I don't know. I need to, last time I checked, it was out of stock for the EU, or some stuff is harder to get down here. Woodcarving Illustrated, I think you I don't think there's a publishing company like a UK EU office for Fox Chapel or stuff like that. Some stuff that you need to pay shipment or get it digital version.
Are there other magazines or anything like that in the UK that devote just articles to wood carving? Or
there's I think I have a book by Ian Norbury, which is a very famous, I think, English, if I'm not, I don't have it here, but yeah, there are lots of resources for in terms of sculpting and joinery, furniture making. I can't remember. I can't think of anything wood carving related in this style.
Okay.
Really, not yet.
So any other questions from anybody in the group? Okay, Rick, as I expected, very fascinating what you do over there. I'll show the carving that I have that you sent me. Back when I heard what he was doing, he had a few pieces that he was selling, and this has been several years ago. And he put this one up for sale, and I snatched it up, and he sent it to me pretty quick. Happy to have this. Happy to have this as one of the carvings that's in my collection here. So
it really warmed my heart to see the journey in the years of this like carvings and just the very steps of the journey, being in friends' houses, and yeah, I'm really grateful, really honored.
And like you said, when you get back to the States, I expect you to come through Tennessee, and I've got plenty of room for you here. So hopefully you can slide by. We can get some carving time in. I
will definitely take you up on that. Definitely.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on today. Appreciate you coming in and sharing with us. Again, we try to make these meetings international, so we try to pull in as many people from outside of the United States and Canada that we can. It's always interesting to hear what other people do, kind of the challenges that you go through to be able to carve. It's not as readily available to you as it is to people in the United States. Hopefully that's an encouragement to people to pick up the resources that you have close by and take a chance at creating some fantastic by wood carving. So I appreciate all that you do. Thank you all for coming in today. This has been the International Association of Woodcarvers, where woodcarvers are helping woodcarvers, and we will see you all July the 20th with Joshua Walters and Wendy Cape Studios. Thank you all.
Go ahead and say that, I'm Rick with blah, 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 Instagram handle or Facebook or whatever you want to have with it. And you can say anything. If you want to say something about yourself, you can. The biggest thing is just saying, welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers, especially since you're international. Okay. Or you could say IAWC if it's easier for you.
No, it's fine. Okay.
So Blake's the one that made it real long.
Sorry, it's my fault.
And that will be in the beginning.
Yep, I'll do that. I'll put that in YouTube when we do the YouTube video. At the beginning of today, Blake will kick everything off, introducing everything. But then when I do the work on the YouTube video later this afternoon, I put that at the very beginning of the video.
Okay, no, I mean, so I need to say international. Welcome to International Association of Woodcarvers at the beginning of of my bit.
Nah, you can do it however you want to.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself and then say, just before you get done with the introduction of everything, just say, welcome to International Association of Woodcarvers.
Okay, perfect.
And we can take as many takes as you want to take. And if you have bloopers, it's more fun anyway. So
all right. Yeah, I guess I'll just put my hat on because I feel it looks better.
There you go.
And that's it.
Well, whenever you're ready, man, I'll just shush and give the floor to you.
Okay. Ready.
He's already started recording, so you can just go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, clapping's fun.
All right.
Beautiful.
Good with that. That's good.
Awesome. Thank you. What stage fright.
Stage fright. Well, and what happens, Rick, I'll clip that little part out and I'll put that at the beginning of the video. And any of the other stuff, even though it's just a couple seconds, I throw it at the end as bloopers. So even this 2 seconds of us chatting here will probably go as bloopers.
Yeah. Feel free to absolute trust.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Absolute trust. Blake, we're in trouble.
Yeah, don't tell him that.
Blake, you'll have to unmute yourself.
How about that? Is that better? All right.
Beautiful, beautiful,
What's that?
beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful, man.
Hey, no, you're not talking about me, right?